Hey there, here we are with another growth moment with me, Julia Gentry. And today we're going to talk about parenting. So, I'm going to give you parenting advice from a non-expert. I'm just going to give you parenting experience from one parent to another. And so I'm not about to get up on my soapbox. I'm not about to try to prove anyone wrong. There is a million different ways to parent. And so this is not a how to, because I just feel like the reason that there is a million different ways to parent is because there's millions of us parents and there is no one right way. There's just your way with your kids, right? Because wherever you might be today in your parenting experience, whether your kids are just babies or you've got teenagers or right, you live in a different state or a different country or you're homeschooling or not homeschooling, your experience and what your kids need are so different and diverse from my experience and what my kids need. And so what this is not is a 1, 2, 3 step guide to being the best parent ever, because really the only way that you can be the best parent ever is that you're just the best you, right? But what I do want to talk about today was brought up by a friend who had made this comment that just stuck with me and has continued to resonate with me. And this was probably about a year ago when some of this COVID stuff initially happened. And she said, I don't I don't want to homeschool my kids. I am not a teacher, and therefore I am not good at this. There is nothing in my makeup that is a good teacher, nor should I be teaching my kids. And I think that that's fair because that was my experience when I first started homeschooling, which happened before COVID. It was not something that was forced upon me. It was something that my husband and I chose to do, which I'll share a little bit about why we chose to do that today. But the minute that she said that, it was as though like it something in the sky opened up, and I just have felt like for this last year, there is a parent out there somewhere who is either struggling with that same thing or is missing an opportunity with their kids. And because our kids, literally, we are raising the next generation of leaders. Like it is not something that's designed to make us feel good. It is the legitimate truth that because we as parents are training up the next generation of leaders, it is so imperative that we understand this mindset principle. And really, if you remember, this is why I'm doing these growth coaching moments is not to tell you what to think, it's to teach you how to think, because the power of our thoughts, the ability to grow, the ability to manifest the things that we want in our life is not just skill set, it's mindset. And so I wanted to give you this principle, this mindset shift to support you in your decision as a parent. This is not to downplay your decision from an education perspective. This is not to downplay my thoughts around, what I'm doing versus what you're doing, or what I feed my kids versus what you feed your kids. Here's what I want to go at today is that we as parents are our kids' teachers. That's what we are. And so the mindset that says, I'm not a teacher, I can't teach my kids, I don't know how to teach my kids, I think is causing some huge opportunity cost. And here's what I mean. We as parents are our kids' teachers. We teach them all day in every way, whether it's through word or deed, whether it's through something that we say to them or something that we simply show them. We are exposing them to the idea of this world and how it works all the time. And it's not until we really realize that and grasp that I think that we can leverage the opportunity that we have with our kids. So homeschooling for me was this reality of like, I could have hid behind this, oh, I'm not their teacher, I don't know how to teach, I'm not wired for this. That's not true. I had kids. I actually stepped in the arena and decided to be their teacher. Now, I didn't get trained to be a kindergarten teacher or a third grade teacher or an eighth grade teacher and all that, and I'm not downplaying what our teachers do know. However, I do believe that I am wired to understand my kids and what they need. Why? Because I'm their mom. There is something that innately God puts in each of us as parents that is wired to connect with our kids in a way that nobody else could, because of that connection that we have with them, right? And so it is actually our job as parents to sit back and to go, okay, you might not be actually deciding to be a homeschool parent or to bring your kids home, all day from an education perspective, but it is our job to sit back and to go, what is it that I want to teach my kids? Not only in what I say to them, but in how I interact with them. Right? The Bible in Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way that they will go, and even as they grow old, they will not depart from it. What does that mean? It basically means that we have an advantage with our children to instill principles and values and mindsets into their very being that they could carry on with them for the rest of their life. And what you'll learn if you actually lean into the science of it is that a child's brain before the age of about 8 years old, 80 to 90% of it is fully developed, which means their cause and effect, their reasoning, their memorization, the things that they will remember truly for the rest of their life, 80 to 90% of that is locked and loaded before the age of 8. This is why I decided to homeschool. I didn't decide to homeschool because I am a teacher. I didn't identify with being a teacher. I didn't homeschool them out of convenience. It makes it more challenging. I run my own business. Now we live on a farm. We've got animals. I got a lot on my plate. So it wasn't that I don't have time. It's that we learned how to make it a priority in our family. Why? Because I wanted to be the one who had the most influence on my children for as long as I could. Not because I am perfect, but because I believe that that's the role that is important to play. I didn't want society to have more influence on my kids. I didn't want kids their age to have more influence on their mindset. I didn't want to outsource something that is so intimately important to who they are for a lifetime. I did not want to outsource that job. I wanted it to be mine. And that's what I want to encourage us today. This again is not about whether you're going to homeschool or not homeschool or how much time you have for your kids. What it is a reminder for us as parents to say, our kids are always watching. What do you want them to watch? They don't need you to be perfect. They don't need you to say the right things. And in fact, it's probably better for them to see you fail so they can see how you respond. It's better for them to see that you make the wrong choices, to know that you're human, but even more so to see how you respond after a wrong choice. They need to see how you interact with them when they make a wrong choice. They need to see how you interact with the world when your neighbor makes a wrong choice, when you lose your job. It's not just about the successes and doing it the right way. What I believe our kids are watching is just a way. And so for us, it started to become really simple. It was like, okay, what is it that is most important to teach our kids? Right? From a scholastic educational perspective to a values and principle perspective. And we just started writing those things down. Like we have school rules. So when they walk into the schoolroom, which is from 12 to 2 each day, they know that, yes, we carry a lot of the same values, but there are some rules that we have that make school and learning work well. Right? We also have these principles of how they show up each morning. We talk a lot about the fruit of the Spirit. So love, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithful, gentleness, and self-control. And we ask them every day, which one do you want to embody today? And it just sets their intention. They pick a word, kind, love, gentleness. And we say, what does that mean to you? Let their little brain start figuring this out. And then when the moment comes where they're getting ready to throw the fit, or they're competing with their brother and sister in a confrontational way, or they make a mistake, we go back to their word and go, all right, how would you look at it through the lens of this value that you picked today? Why? Because it's important that we're not just teaching our kids what to think, that we're actually teaching them how to think. So today, what I really want to empower you with, to all of my parents, is not a one-size-fits-all parenting rule book. It is not a be a better parent. It is not a like a 1, 2, 3 step on how to do this successfully. This is the idea and a principle that says you are a teacher. What kind of teacher do you want to be? What is important to you as a family? What values are important to you as a family? What is the mindset that you want to instill in your children, that regardless of what's going on in the world around them, and regardless of how kids interact with them on the playground, and regardless of if they fail or succeed or have to try again a million times, What it is that we want to instill is a mindset of resolve and conviction and love and gratitude and things that are going to help them and equip them in an ever-changing, inconsistent, crazy world. So I encourage you today to not look at this and say, well, I'm not a teacher, yet you are. You are a teacher all day in every way. And it's simply to ask yourself this question today of, what am I teaching them? And is it what I want to be instilling in them? What are the patterns and the habits and routines that I find myself in that I need to change to simply show them, not just tell them? And if you find yourself a little bit, in that shame, blame, guilt of, I don't know that I've been the best parent and I've been making a lot of mistakes, or I've been really crazy angry, or all the things, now is the best opportunity to sit down and to share these things with your kid. They need to see you in a state of weakness, to watch you rise again, to watch you come back from failure, to watch you walk out of anger and into love. They actually need to see the example. So when they find themselves in that spot, that they remember their teacher, that they remember you and the principles that you taught them. So I encourage you today to start. Just start. Don't worry about what you did yesterday. Don't worry about all the failures of the past. Don't worry about it, even if you didn't have this exemplified to you as a kid. What I would encourage you today is to just start and then don't stop. Commit each day to be the best version of you, because really, this is what changed Michael Jordan's career, if I could be honest. He started to really struggle in his career those first couple of years. And he says he remembers an extremely profound moment that he got done with a basketball game and he was starting to go downhill. Like his numbers were declining and he wasn't showing up the way that he wanted to. And he realized that the problem was he was comparing himself to everybody else. He was comparing himself to his last game. He was comparing himself to his teammates. He was comparing himself to the other teams. Ever been there? Comparing yourself to that mom on Instagram and the one who seems to have it all together on Pinterest and the one who knows what she's talking about in these growth coaching sessions, and on and on and on, right? Everything changed for Michael Jordan in a moment when he said, I'm no longer going to compare myself or compete with the people around me. I'm going to compete with me. I'm going to compete with me in each game, and in each day, I'm going to be the better version of me. That's limitless. Even if I try to compare myself with the best mom next to me, I still will hit a limit, right? I could prove my way to that position, but then I actually still put myself in a box. Why? Because now I've hit my goal, right? I'm there. What Michael Jordan said is, I'm simply going to be the best version of me every single day, which means there are no limits, which means he always can find his edge, which means he can actually create uninhibitedly and be exactly who he was created to be, because he's no longer in a box of comparison or competition with other people. So I encourage you today, stop Googling the best way to be a parent. Stop outsourcing your strengths to somebody else. Stop getting on Instagram or Pinterest and figuring out what all the things you're not doing and should be doing. And instead, go in today, look at your family and the needs of your kids, and decide, what is it that you can do to be the best version of you, to be the best teacher that you can be, to not only teach in word, but also in deed. And when you need more growth moments, just an opportunity to look at something different, to rethink anything so you can have everything, join me every single day as I give you opportunities to lean in to a better understanding of growth and mindset principles.